And welcome back to another podcast with Mr. Hagan. And in this podcast, we're going to finish looking at the marginal benefits and marginal cost, which is how economists believe that people make decisions in the world. They do so by looking at the margin. Remember, margin means additional or one more. And on the last podcast, we said we calculated the marginal costs. On the previous podcast before that one, we had calculated the marginal benefits. Both of those are important because we said that's how people make decisions. They say if the marginal benefit's greater than the marginal cost, engage in the behavior. You engage in the behavior, in fact, up to the point where the marginal benefit equals the marginal cost, and that's where you stop. Whenever the marginal cost is greater than the marginal benefit, then don't do it. So what we want to do in this podcast is we want to graph those marginal ideas. So to do that, we want to graph the marginal benefits and the marginal costs. In fact, notice I'm really not paying attention to total benefits and total costs anymore because we don't make decisions by looking at those. We make decisions on the margin, okay? So get rid of those totals. Forget the totals. We ask ourselves, do I want to buy this second Coke? Let's say I already bought the first Coke. I bought it. I drank it. It was great. Whatever. I enjoyed it. But now I'm asking myself, do I want to buy Coke number 2? Do I? Well, to figure that out, I don't care what the total benefits are because that includes the happiness I got from the first Coke. And I already drank that. So I don't care. I only care about Coke number 2. Coke number 2 gives me $2 of marginal benefits, and I have to pay $1 to get it. So do I buy Coke number 2? Yes, I do. Marginal benefits greater than the marginal cost. I don't look at the totals. Okay? Decisions are made on the margin. So let's graph the margin. Let's graph the marginal benefits. Okay? So Coke number 1. So down here, here's Coke's on the horizontal axis. Marginal benefit, marginal cost on the vertical axis, measured in dollars. And let's see, Coke number 1, marginal benefit was $3. So we put a dot there. There it was. Coke number 1 gave me $3 marginal benefit. Coke number 2, $2 of marginal benefit. So I go graph that. Coke number 3 gave me $1 of marginal benefit. And Coke number 4, 50 cents of marginal benefit. And then we connect the dots. And there is my marginal benefit curve. Notice that the marginal benefit curve slopes down. Okay? That's because we're back here to diminishing marginal utility. Each additional unit of the good adds less happiness to my life than the previous unit. So the first unit adds a lot of happiness to my life. The second one adds, it still adds happiness or benefits to my life, but just less than the previous. The third one adds even fewer benefits. The fourth one, still fewer benefits. So diminishing marginal utility is the reason why this curve slopes down. What about the marginal cost? Okay, marginal cost of the first Coke is $1. So I graph it. Marginal cost of the second Coke, $1. So I graph it. Marginal cost of the third Coke. Over here, marginal cost of the first Coke, $1. Over there. Marginal cost of the fourth Coke, $1. Graph it. There's my marginal cost curve. Now, again, remember what our rule was. Whenever the marginal benefits are greater than the marginal cost, then we engage in the behavior. So Coke number 1, do I buy it? Yes. Why? Because the marginal benefits are greater than the marginal costs. How about Coke number 2? Do I buy Coke number 2? Yes, I do. Why? Because the marginal benefits are greater than the marginal cost. What about Coke number 3? Coke number 3, marginal benefits equal to marginal cost. That's where I stop. That's how many I buy. I buy 3 Cokes. Why? Because that's where the marginal benefits equal to the marginal cost. So I engage in a behavior all the way up to the point where the marginal benefit equals marginal cost. That happens at 3 units, and that will always, if you follow this rule, that will always give you the point of utility maximization. It will always maximize net happiness. And then finally, Coke number 4. Do I buy Coke number 4? No, I don't. Why? Because the marginal costs are greater than the marginal benefit, so I don't do it. Okay, so our general rule of behavior is that we engage in any behavior up to the point that the marginal benefits equal the marginal cost. And that's where we stop. So we can show that on the chart, marginal benefits, marginal costs, and we can show that on a graph. Marginal benefits equal marginal cost. That's where we stop. We engage in the behavior up to that point. This has been another podcast with Mr. Hagan. Thanks for joining me, and see you on the next podcast.